Welcome everyone to Rooms, Rules and Rivalries. Today we're going to explore the European short-term rental landscape. That's a sector that's currently shaped by smarter travelers, sharper technologies and ever-changing customer expectations. And when we look at the theme, the new agent, I think the short-term rental space is the new agent of accommodation. That's where surging demand, regulatory headwinds, digital innovation, and fierce competition all collide. I want to make this session a bit interactive, so you're already familiar with these signs. I will ask for your reaction throughout this session, and would be good to see some of your opinions. The same will be for Emmanuel and for Bodo. So yeah, joining me for this session are two leaders that help steer this evolution. Emmanuel Marill, the Regional Director EMEA for Airbnb, and Bodo Thielmann, Chief Investment Director of HomeToGo. Thank you for joining us. So, after a couple of years, pandemic-fueled growth, short-term rentals still offer value, space, and flexibility that has been their long-standing strength. But these benefits are challenged now by changing market landscape and tighter regulations, the changing guest experience that we mentioned, and also an increased competition, not just from peer platforms, but also from hotels that are stepping up and evolving their offerings. And also there's this uneven rebound of business travel, where we see that back to office policies are changing and are shrinking the pool of available flexible workers that have been contributing to this pandemic-fueled growth as well. So all of that is reshaping demand patterns, and it influences how, why, and where travelers book. So make no mistake, it's not a story about decline. The short-term rental space is still very, very resilient and a very important part of the whole travel ecosystem. But the old playbook that might have worked over the last couple of years might not work any longer. So all the stakeholders probably have to evolve a bit. So that's all the hosts, the platforms, the property managers, as well as the investors. There might be some need to change. So looking at some figures, the global short-term rental market achieved a staggering amount of 176 billion euros last year. And if we zoom in into Europe, you will see that within the last 3 years, the market almost doubled from 39 billion that's now dollars to $73 billion this year or last year, and expected to grow to $92 billion by 2028. So that's some impressive growth, but the catch is the growth has been slow. It will be slowing down. We will be in single digit, while over the last couple of years we've been in double digits in the short-term rental market, not just in Europe but in the US as well. So, with all that in mind, the numbers, the shifting landscape, the mounting pressures, let's kick it off. Let's kick it off with the first statement, which should spark some reactions. The statement is, the golden age of short-term rentals is over. So is the short-term rental sector now too professionalized already, too regulated, or too bland, for the lack of a better word? So I want you all to weigh in. So panelists and audience, let's see those signs. Okay, who wants to start to comment on the golden age of short-term rentals? Emmanuel, let's start with you. You had really huge demand and growth over the last years, and yeah.
Well, first of all, good morning. What time is it? Hi, everybody. Hi, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you, Walter, for the invitation. I think from an Airbnb standpoint, but when I look at the industry, first of all, I think the numbers are still very, very interesting. When we look at the earnings the first quarter of the year, the numbers were good. I think the potential that we see is very impressive. When I look at, for example, two things. When I look at the business that we have outside of urbans, big cities, it's more than 55% of Airbnb's business today. It's growing very fast. Mm-hmm. Rural, countrysides, in all our European countries. If I give you one number, We have Airbnb in 29,000 cities and villages in France, which is almost 100% of the coverage of the country. So it goes everywhere, and that's just the beginning. Second, I think you were talking about the fact that, maybe there is a slowdown in terms of, or an acceleration of professionalization. When I look at the Olympic Games in Paris last summer, the number of supply of hosts doubled. More than 120,000 homes were on Airbnb just in Paris for the Olympic Games. Those homes are primary homes, casual hosting. So I see through events, through new opportunities outside of big cities, I see also new audiences, like the families. They are still embracing the short-term rental, 2, 3, 4 rooms, right? So I still believe that there is the potential is still very, very strong. Is our ability to capture it, but the potential is very strong.
So the recent news about Airbnb was to adding back experiences and transparency in services. Is that did it come from the expected increase just being in a single digit as well, or is it a little bit unrelated and you just wanted to, Airbnb wants to get back and get it like kind of a super app ambition as well?
Well, but you have this, which is a third of the travel industry is transportation, 1/3 is accommodation, and 1/3 is what you do. And in the what you do space, I think we have a lot to offer. So going back with services, so for guests when you travel, we already started launching services for hosts a year ago with co-hosting, for example, as a service for homeowners. So we believe that there is a lot to do in that world that we can offer through human connection, through our hosts, right? And experiences is just like a natural complement to the home, right? To the homes business. The homes business already provides experiential. You go in a home that is an amazing place that tells a story, and then you have the host who is also offering a lot of things. So it was very natural for us to go back in that field, accelerate, and launch it. I think it's really something that people want, by the way. They want this connection through experiences and nice homes where they can go to, basically.
Agree. Bodo, is the golden age of short-term rental over?
No, not at all. I mean, that's our investment hypothesis when our 3 founders founded the company 11 years ago. So a bit later than Airbnb was founded. But I think we clearly build on this hypothesis that is a given fact, that this is an industry which is more and more professionalizing, which is a pretty good alternative to hotels, and which is, I mean, 10 years ago we saw this industry in even less than 50% of the properties being online or being booked online. Now we are talking about 90% plus online. Plus, I think in particular after COVID, more and more individual homes, primary homes or even secondary homes, went beyond renting it out to friends and family, but really in a professional manner, and they need platforms for that. And that's just where I think both of our companies help to develop this category. Yeah.
So you acquired some niche brands. The most recent one is Interhome, which is soon to close. So
which is not a niche brand in itself.
Yeah, no, Interhome is
60 years of
it's one of the bigger ones in Europe. I know it pretty well. I once worked for that company. So is the whole market headed towards more fragmentation, or is there a consolidation? I mean, Europe has always been a bit more consolidated than what we see in the US, but still, even with all the properties of Interhome, and if you add Novasol, it's still just a small fraction of the whole market of the...
To give you some figures, I mean, we as HomeToGo see basically 2 segments, and that's how we are structured as well as a public company. We see the marketplace, which is really search and book. So there we aim for the maximum array of properties. We have more than 20 million listings or properties you can book over our diverse brands, HomeToGo, eDomicile, Casamundo, Tripping, etc. But we shift more and more also our focus on the supply side. So we have, including Interhome, which we'll soon have in the portfolio, we have approximately 250,000 properties where we either have them bound by our software, which is then channeling it out, or by full service like Interhome. So we offer to Airbnb, Vrbo, Booking.com, and a couple of other platforms, more than 250,000 properties, really where we focus our activities on software and services around the accommodation itself, while we don't limit this inventory to only HomeToGo portals. So the reach of our colleagues is probably much higher, and therefore we make use of all relevant booking platforms.
Okay, good. Let's get to the next topic. So guests don't see hotels and short-term rentals mutually exclusive. And rentals, what we mentioned, they still excel on the value and uniqueness, but hotels win with service and trust. And we have one data point from our short-term rental study that we did. It's US numbers, but what you see here is that younger travelers tend to prefer hotels over short-term rentals. So I want you to dig a little bit in. Is it just because the younger travelers haven't experienced yet how it is when you have two kids and a dog to take somewhere? Or is it that this service and trust for hotels play a bigger role in general or might win? So that leads me to the next statement I have, which is, guests trust hotel more than rentals and always will. So what is your reaction to it? Audience, please show your sign. It's a bit mixed, but I see more towards the hotel side, which, okay, negative means you don't agree with the statement, yeah. Yes. But we saw quite a few people who are in favor of hotels. So weigh in, what are your thoughts on that? Bodo, let's start with you this time.
Okay, so I don't think it's a contradiction at all. I mean, people use hotels and vacation homes once in a while. So I'm the best example. I have a family, 2 kids. So in one summer we use vacation rentals. This summer we used hotels. So and even for business travel, I of course prefer hotels, but also once in a while take a city apartment or something like that. So I think it is just about our teams, our companies, to professionalize more and more the vacation rental experience for both the host and the guest, and add some more professional services, amenities and stuff like that, while we also see a trend that hotels get more and more boutique-like, even apart hotels arise, so there's really a convergence of these two categories.
Yep. We talk about regulations later, but do you think the competition gets a bit fiercer here with hotels? I mean, hotels probably appreciate the regulations that kick out short-term rentals of some cities or make it way more difficult. Do you see that there is a rivalry between hotels, or are you more like, I want to succeed in my space?
Well, we clearly want to succeed in our space. Yeah. I mean, we both don't really care about hotels so much. We care about regulation. Yeah. Of course, that's something which goes over different layers, local level, regional level, national, EU-wide regulations. I think the more and more it's harmonized and it's an equal playing field with hotels, the better it is. And hotels is not just big chains like Marriott. Hotels is also small boutique hotels, individual run, owner run hotels. They have the same challenge in terms of regulation. So equal playing field is, I think, what would help both categories.
And I think there is room for everyone. I mean, if you look at the chart you shared, and you share exactly the same chart for hotels, it will be the same. So you see that growth will be exactly the same for both. So it's complementary, right?
Yeah.
You need both.
Yeah.
You need both. You need to have. I mean, when I look at families, for example, families will skew towards homes because you can have like 2-3 rooms, and you can have it. I mean, but sometimes, and by the way, it's very fluid. By the way, they will go in an Airbnb sometimes, and sometimes they will go in a hotel. And sometimes they will decide they want a romantic getaway with full services, and sometimes they want something where they can invite people, you know. Sometimes they want to go where there is no hotel. I'm going back. I mean, in Spain, we have an Airbnb in 5,200 villages, pueblos. 5,200 villages with one Airbnb. In those villages, you don't have traditional accommodation. So there is room for everyone. That's what I've been telling. I've been at Airbnb for 9 years. I've been telling that since the very beginning. The numbers, the growth is same in both industries. Both industries can grow. And by the way, you see a lot of hotels trying to adjust a little bit their offer so that they can offer some apartments, serviced apartments. So they combine, it's more hybrid. Yeah. And I think this is what we need to keep in mind, is that there is room for everybody. The question is, how do we work together to make it, to make the destination, Barcelona or other places, make it appealing for guests, for travelers. Yeah. That I think is a key. That's the key. That's why I think there is the trust is not one side or the other. It should be both, by the way.
I do think it's also with the data you usually see in cities that have both a lot of rentals and a lot of hotels. Both are gaining. It's not that the ADRs are low for hotels because there are too many short-term rentals. I mean, maybe New York, you saw it when the short-term rentals were kicked out, kind of. Hotels just made even more revenue, but they did well with that. But they did well while Airbnb was strong there too. So.
Walter, New York City is an amazing example. New York City is and I'm moving. I'm not supposed to run the question, so I'm sorry about that. But New York City was the issue was we need to fix housing crisis, right? So we are going to be very hard on short-term rentals. 1.5 years later, what you see in New York City is that the house stock is exactly the same. It doesn't change at all. The rent went up, and the hotel prices was up, right? So it's clearly there was a need for short-term rental in New York City for young generations. It's difficult to go to New York right now to find a place in Manhattan and travel there when you have 25 years old and it's your first trip to the US. It's expensive, right? Yeah. And I think that's why I'm saying it's complementary. The complementarity is a key in this space, which is how do we work together to work on the destination. And this is what we did for some big events, thinking about the Eurovision, the Olympic Games. And when you work together on a destination, you bring more capacity to absorb big events. Sorry, I went sideways on this topic. We can go back to...
I used this segue to go into the next topic, which will be around regulations. I have to talk about that topic. Regulation is not just to protect hotels. There are many other reasons. From Amsterdam to Barcelona, you see these regulations coming in. Other reasons are like the housing market and so on. So the next statement is, where I want you to weigh in, is regulation is not a threat. It's a competitive weapon for bigger guys like you. So talk a bit about the regulation. Do tighter regulation help or hinder the vision of your company? Can it be, if the rules are there and they are stable, you can grow your business well, or yeah?
I think you always need to find a way, despite regulation, to grow the business. It cannot hinder it. It should not hinder it. I think if it's more and more complex, you can give the host, who is mostly suffering from regulations, or the platform, you can give them tools to actually cope with it. I would not say it's a threat. It's definitely something, if it's too complicated, it really sucks for us as business people. But it's an event on which you can create services and service offerings and tools to help.
Do rules affect your investment strategy? Is it something you look at and say, oh, I better keep up because I'm not sure what this city is doing?
As long as properties can be rent out legitimately, compliant, we have no reason not to take them on our marketplace, nor to invest in businesses that are in these areas or in these type of services, no.
So Emmanuel, is it more a patchwork, or would a pan-European regulation help, or is it just built into the DNA of short-term rentals that it is a patchwork?
I think it's all come back to the question of simplicity. Regulation, when the regulation is smart, it's very helpful because it gives visibility to the homeowner. You know, like I received again yesterday a text message from a friend of my mother who is wondering whether she can put a house on Airbnb in the south of France. I'm like, yes, you can. Here is how. So I think the question is, when there is a regulation, we should make it simple so that people know how to navigate it and they know they can put their home. Because at the end of the day, what we want is homes to be on platforms with high level of hospitality, and so that people can make ends meet. So a lot of people can benefit from the tourism industry, which is the biggest industry in most of our countries. Here, I don't remember the numbers, but I think it's more than 12% of GDP. France, it's 8% of GDP. Italy, it's more than 10%. It's huge industry, and if we can spread it to people, to locals, through their homes, everybody is winning. So the question is simplicity, and the good news that in Europe there is a framework. It's called EUSTR, European Union Short-Term Rental. This framework gives clear rules for all 27 countries to respect. Simple registration, simple data sharing process. It's simple, simple, simple everywhere. If it's simple, it works. It regulates, it controls, but it gives visibility and possibilities. If we do that, then we win, because it's complementary to the other players. Yeah. It brings economic empowerment to people, and they need it. I'm talking too much. Sorry, Walter. Okay. Boom. It's very brutal, but...
Yeah, we're running out of time, but you touched a little bit on the topic also how the technology can help to increase the business for the individual host as well. So let's get into that topic. The next statement is, the battle for short-term rentals will be won by whoever owns the smartest algorithm and who has the deepest pockets. So how are you, first the reaction. Is that a true statement? Are the big ones with the most money or the best tech winning? Or no? A lot of people agree with that statement.
You're okay with that?
A lot of people agree with the statement. So maybe tell us a bit about how you're using AI and tech to offer hotel-like services and things like that.
I don't think it's going to be, I'm sorry, Bodo, but then you chime in on that one, but I don't think it's going to be about algorithm and money. I think, of course, it's part of it. I think it's going to be about providing the right level of experience and connection. In time of AI, high tech, people are nervous about it. So how do we bring this into the real life, and we empower, we let people connect, having real experiences, especially Gen Z. The younger generation, well, it's even too long. This one was... No, but you get my point. I think it's about the connection, and AI should empower people and let people really connect in real life. If we manage to do that, we fix both things, technology and connection.
Our view is, we started more than 2 years ago in exploring AI and introducing it into our products, conversational AI for the search and book process, also for the customer care. And it, of course, gives us a certain USP and also allows for more efficiency. But nevertheless, I agree with you. At the end, it's an end-to-end experience for us on both sides of the marketplace, the host and the guest, and the customer's journey, so to say.
I don't think anyone in the room here will remember an algorithm 10 years from now.
Yeah.
They won't remember an algorithm. They won't even remember the device they booked their listing or their home on. What they will remember is an amazing experience, an amazing time in a beautiful home with their friends and families, enjoying a swimming pool and a barbecue. Yeah. That they will remember for 10 years. But the algorithm, no one.
And the discrepancy between deep pockets or smartness in terms of AI, that I would say is you can win with deep pockets and can have troops of AI developers and deploy the technology. But I think, as was also on the panel before, the common sense that if you're smart enough, but still small, you can do a lot with and create a USP with little means and with little money.
Unfortunately, the session is almost over, so just one answer. For looking forward, 2026, let's say 2028, what matters the most? Just one word. Supply, regulation, branding, or tech?
Hosts, supply.
Supply. Bodo?
Tech, but also hosts, I would say. I fully agree. Supply is the currency here, but the tech to deploy it and to create a good experience and efficiency is also key.
Thank you, Bodo. Thank you, Emmanuel. It was a great session.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Walter.